Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out, perhaps in the best weather that we've had this year. It's an absolute cracking day. Bright sunshine. It's supposed to carry on for about 4 or 5 days. But anyway, today, well, the video today is a little bit different. I've got a hammock, but I don't need trees. And I've got a cooker, but it doesn't need flames. Intrigued? Watch on. Firstly, the hammock that I've got is the one that I had last week, which is the Haven Hammock, the Haven XL. And one of the design features that they built into the hammock was that sometimes when you arrive where you're going, you may not have trees. So therefore you wouldn't be able to put up a traditional hammock. And so they've made this one so that you can use a pair of walking sticks or a couple of sticks from the woods to make it into a bivvy shelter. So that's what I'm going to be using for my sleeping accommodation today. I've brought along I suppose you'd call it a tarp. It's a Vango family shelter, which I bought a long time ago. I haven't used it for 8-9 years, something like that. So I brought that along. It's not supposed to rain, but you never know. And then I've got the Barocook cooking system. I'll talk more about that later. But first off, I'm going to get the hammock set up. So I'll show you how I'm doing it, because it's different to the last time. Now, the weather yesterday was nothing like the weather today. So I've got a small ground sheet to put under the hammock, because I don't really want to get it filthy dirty if I don't have to. Yeah, it was amazing yesterday, the weather. It rained until about 9 o'clock at night, I think. So here's the hammock, nice and freshly dried out from last week. Now apparently to do this, to rig it without trees, we have to put it together, so we put the mat in whilst it's on the floor. Got the main body of the hammock and the poles. Although actually, there's some guy lines here already. Let's use those then. I've got some different pegs. I use different pegs. I prefer these pegs. They're quite a lot more rugged and they don't pull out. Put the partially inflated mattress into the hammock because I think it was going to be a bit awkward to put it in when it was fully inflated. So now I'm just going to carry on and do the rest of the inflation. That concludes that bit. And like I said last time, they just go in these little pockets. So put the carabiner on the end of the hammock there. Same on this end. I'm just going to put a loop on the end of each one so that it can hook onto the carabiner. Now I decided to peg the corners down because it's quite slippery on this this ground sheet, so I'm using the little toggles in the corners to keep it where I've put it. So that's the Haven Hammock. Now you can put the rainfly over it, but the rainfly, or the replacement rainfly, is currently over the Atlantic. Just on that note, I did speak to, or emailed Tim from Haven and explained to him the problem, and there was no quibble. He put one straight in the post the next day. So fantastic service, and what a brilliant product. You know, there aren't too many things where people think about things like, how would you have a hammock when there are no trees? Absolutely brilliant. I like it. The temperature still does drop at night, so I've got my wool blanket and my Thermarest pillow and an old faithful Enlightened Equipment quilt. We'll spend the rest of the day lofting. Brilliant. So there you go. That's the sleep system installed. I think that's a really impressive piece of kit. Something else that I didn't show you properly last time was the ridge light, which again is from Haven. And what it is it's a string of LEDs, and a couple of little bungee fellas here. A string of LEDs that go along the ridge line. And the idea is that you put this carabiner just on the ridge line in there, and then the carabiner on this end goes in the same place at this end. And they plug into a power bank. So your power bank goes in the pocket. And there are some little rings on there if you remember to put it on before you put the spreader bars in. But never mind. So these just go around the ridge line and just hold it in place. And I'll show you in more detail later on when it's dark. But again, just really thoughtful. Well done, Haven. So this is the Vango shelter. It's not lightweight. The poles are steel and they're quite heavy. So I think what I might do is, if I'm going to use this again, I might get some carbon fibre poles. Well, it's certainly quite a lot taller than I remember it being. So you have these guy ropes. They have a loop in the end which just hooks over the top of the pole somewhere, just so that I can see where we get to. Well, it looks a bit like a pea on a drum, doesn't it? It's certainly high. Well, it's perfectly fit for purpose, but I suspect if I took a section out of those poles and brought it down a little bit, it wouldn't look so ridiculous. Well, camp is now set up, so I'll just take you on a quick tour. That's the wood pile, the wood burner, one of the lanterns, the hammock, and the somewhat ridiculously high shelter. Now, at the beginning, I mentioned Barocook. This is the Barocook cup, or BC004. Again, really neat piece of kit. If we open it up, you basically got your cup with your neoprene jacket on. You take this off, and it's got a cup within a cup. Now, the system works on the heating pads, I think I said at the beginning, that you find in the self-heating MREs, or ration packs. But this one enables you to make a hot drink. So that's what I'm going to do now. Now on the bottom, it actually says on there, the water line, that's how much water you have to put in to make the heat pad work. So I'll try and gauge that. Too much. So yeah, I think it takes 40 mils. And if you put too much in, it bubbles up and comes over the top. And that looks about right. So then what we do is we open the heat pad thing. And then you have to kind of shake it all into one piece, and you push it down into the bottom of the outside plastic cup so that it's in the water. And then you leave it for a couple of minutes and it'll start fizzing, which is enough time for you to make up whatever drink that you're making. I'm going to make a cup of tea. A couple of shugs. Some powdered milk. You can use fresh milk. I would suggest you put it in at the beginning so that it all heats up together. And then a trusty old Yorkshire tea. And then we kind of wait for a minute. It's soaking it up now, so it should start to do something soon. Oh, I forgot, we need to put some water in the cup. As with any of these things, when you've got a when you put things in cold water, they never really dissolve properly, so it probably look horrible for the minute, but it should improve significantly. Put the microphone down there. So I think it's time to put the cup in. There you go. So that's the chemical reaction starting. So we push the cup down. Oh, and you put the lid on. And you just leave it to do its thing. And 7 to 10 minutes, and we should have a nice hot cup of tea. I did notice when I was playing with this yesterday that once it stops bubbling, you can put a little bit more water in and it'll start bubbling again, because it had finished bubbling yesterday and I'd finished my cup of tea and I put it in the sink, and I just thought, well, I wonder if it still has any capabilities for heating, and so I poured water on it and it started doing this again. So I don't know how many times you can do it, but so let's see if it works again. If I open up the cup, you can see it's starting to get hot and froth. We put a bit more water in, and it starts going again. It's time to have a look and see how we got on. It's still bubbling away, but look at that. See, a hot coffee, a hot cup of tea. the fire, or fire pit. And then you put the lid on because that holds it all together, and it has a little drinking spout. So try it. Oh, that's hot. Ooh. That's really hot. Oh. Let's stop making a noise now. But what that means is that it will keep my drink hot for, I think it's about 45 minutes, something like that. This I bought from Adventure Nutrition. Really nice company, small company I think. They do MREs and ration packs and things like that. I used some when I was down on the Jurassic Coast on that video that I did down there, and they were by far the best wet meals that I've had. I've had quite a few of them, and these ones I thoroughly enjoyed the ones that I had. I had a chicken dough piazza and a chili con carne with rice, and I've actually just done another order with them, and I've got the chicken dough piazza with rice, with chicken dough piazza and the chili with rice, but I've also got a Lancashire hot pot and a beef stew with dumplings, and then there are two dried meals which are the high energy ones, a chicken tikka masala, and the other one escapes me, I can't remember. Now I have got another one, another product of this Barocook, again from the Adventure Nutrition, is the Barocook BC300. Now this one it's a bit like a couple of Tupperware boxes, well, a metal one and a plastic one inside the other. And it works on a very similar principle. So you have, they're bigger heat pads, but you have a metal food container, and then your heat pad goes under here with the water, and your food goes in there, and then you pop the lid on, and I think it's 15 to 20 minutes, and you have hot food. Now, one thing I noticed on the literature was that they reckon that you can boil an egg in it. So I thought, well, why don't we have a go? And I think it says 15 to 20 minutes for an egg. Yeah, 15 to 20 minutes with a 50 gram heating pad, which is one of these. So we pop those out of the way. We get our eggs. Oh, they don't go in there. It's got a line. Oh, yes, it has. Oh, we've got a super hot. I think we'll use super hot, 50 grams, yeah. Okay, so you can use a 20 gram one, which is what we used in the coffee pot thing. So we'll put some water in. I suspect this might spill over again like the other one did. As we get ourselves ready, I think they take a couple of minutes to kick off these because they're much bigger. So if we put the heating pad in there, that's in the water, we put our eggs into our bowl with our water for the eggs. You just hear it starting now. So let's take advantage of all of the heat, pop that in. And let's see if it does what it's supposed to do. It's very impressive, isn't it? If it's 15 to 20 minutes, then we'll go for 17 and a half and see how we get on. Though I don't know how to do it apart from peeling an egg. So it's the moment of truth. I can't say I'm 100% confident. It seemed to stop making a noise at about 12 minutes. So I let it go on for to the whole 20 minutes, so we'll see what happens. I can't see it somehow. I think that's what you call an absolute fail. That certainly isn't a boiled egg. I'll pop that to one side. And I think what I might do, let's see if we can rescue the second egg. We'll put another heating pad in. See if we can do it with two. It's making some sort of a noise, but a little bit more water. That was a lot quicker. Maybe there's something wrong with the other one. So that's 20 minutes. Well, that feels an awful lot hotter than the last time. Ow, 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 ow. It is hotter than the last time. We might actually it's very soft boiled. In fact, I think it might end in tears if I try and peel it too much. What I might do is just put it back in there for another 5 minutes, because it seems to have almost done it this time. Right, well, the moment of truth. Right, let's just move that out of the way. So, the answer to can you boil an egg in a Barocook cooker? I would also think that if you had more eggs in there, then there's less liquid to heat up, so it'd probably get hotter quicker. But we'll see how it gets on with my supper later. I think it's going to be good. So, finish this and then get on with some serious business. In the last video, and indeed in the one, the luxury tarp camping video, I used the MSR Guardian, which is a water purifier, which is distinct from a filter, a water filter. And someone said to me in the comments after the last video when I was down in the New Forest that I hadn't boiled the water. And I thought, well, because it's an MSR Guardian, I don't need to. However, he was quite right, because best practice, which is what all of us should be doing, would be that you boil the water, irrespective of how fancy your water purifier filter is at all. And so thank you for raising that, and I will remember that now. But yes, it's quite right, best practice. Goodness me. This time of day. Cheers. Oh, it always tastes better in the woods. Well, it's supper time. We're going to be using the Barocook again. I do have a fire going, but it's a campfire and I'm not using it for cooking. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put the food into the tray. This is a chicken curry that I made yesterday. Should be delicious. So we put a bit of agua. It's about there. I hope that this sachet is going to be a good one. So, at last, on with the show. So, $20. I bought this, which is a cutlery set. It's called Outlery, and I am really impressed with it. I do like things like this. It's a tin case, and inside you have everything to make up your cutlery. So it gets rid of all this single-use stuff. So you have a fork, a spoon, and a knife. And you also have, not present, I'm sure, in any other cutlery set I've seen, you have a pair of chopsticks. Which would be really useful for my wok cooking. And then you have the pieces that make up the handles of them, so you can make up the knife, fork and spoon. So you have these pieces, so they just screw together, and then you put in whatever piece is required. So for tonight's supper I should be using the spoon, because that's how I eat my curry sticks on. So I'm really impressed with that. I think it's a lovely little set. It's not the cheapest of things, but you know, you get what you pay for. Moment of truth. So there's some steam, that's good. Let's see what it's like. Well, that's certainly hot enough. So, I finished supper. It wasn't as hot as the self-heating meals get, and I suspect that that's because the self-heating meals they're kind of surrounded by the bag, whereas this has only got it on the sides and the bottom. And also there was quite a lot in there. Now, another thing that I thought was that the amount of liquid in there will change the ability of the heat to dissipate through it. I don't think I was helped, because I think the first heat pack thing, I think it may have been hanging around a bit. But when I got the heat box this morning, the Barocook thing, there were 5 sachets in it, and I took 2 of them out and replaced them with 2 from the additional ones that I'd bought, and I think those 2 worked fantastically. So I think, well, one of them certainly did. So I think that it may be to do with that. But like any of these things, as I said, you can't just make a decision based on using it once. I need to try it in different situations with different food, and the different heat packs. But what I can say is that I would absolutely be happy to use it with retort pouches, but that's because retort pouches have been they've been subjected to high temperatures to sterilise them. So they're basically sterilised food. You can open the packet and eat it cold. Whereas things that you bring from home, you need to get them up to about 70, I think it's 76 degrees, so that it gets rid of any bacteria, and certainly rice, although rice is more to do with storage. Anyway, I'm rambling. What do I think of it? I think it's a brilliant piece of kit. I just have to find out how to use it to its optimum, and what foods are optimum for it. because it's a fantastic idea. I've just noticed an interesting feature of the Haven Hammock. The guy lines, they're reflective. So you know where they are when you're advancing towards them. Absolutely brilliant. So this is the demonstration of the lights, the bedroom lights. They're very effective, and you can make it more romantic as well. Well, don't know how that works for one. Good morning, everyone. Absolute cracker of a night. Really comfortable. The sun's come out again. I suppose it's really time to get up and have another go with the Barocook, because I've got some breakfast. Make a cup of coffee. I took the bug sheet off last night, so it's just been open. And I'm glad I had that shelter, because there were a few drops of rain, and there was some condensation as well in the air that dropped off the trees. So it was just as well that I had that. I enjoy being out here, really nice. There's a very busy woodpecker. He's obviously a hungry woodpecker. Anyway, I'll get up and get organised and have some breakfast. Today we've got baked beans, 3 rashers of bacon, two sausages, 2 little bit of sausages, some sauté potatoes, and 2 boiled eggs, which I think I'm going to break in half, because I think they'll stand a better chance of warming up then. Well, steam is good. Well, let's try a little bit then. Bit of sausage, bit of egg. We have success, ladies and gentlemen. I have a hot meal. Give me hot breakfast. Well, it's that time again. I've packed everything up, and so I'm going to head off. Just before I do, I'm really pleased that I got that Barocook heating system to work. It seems that they were a bit over optimistic on their timings, because I left the last one for about 30 minutes. And I also think that I did have a couple of stale heating packs, because it didn't start up for about 8 minutes or so. But nonetheless, it worked. I had a lovely comfortable night in the Haven on the floor, and I'm looking forward to putting that up in a tree again, because it was really comfortable in a tree. The fly sheet will arrive, I think it's arriving tomorrow, the replacement fly sheet, which is excellent, good service, well done Haven. So yes, that's it for today. We're off down to Cornwall at the end of next week, so there'll be a few videos, but it'll be a couple of weeks before they come out, so bear with me. But thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.